Yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back to the fourth quarter talk. I'm your host, Big Duke. All fire, smoke. You know what time it is. Listen, man, we got a special show today, guys. Man, I got a couple of my brothers in the building, man. My man Chucky Brown and Pete Koch, the big Swede on Heartbreak Ridge. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get it in and chop it up. We're gonna talk about some of these sports injuries and the battle of the old school versus the new school. And I mean, not saying which one is better as much, but one thing is for certain and two is for sure is that hard work is undefeated. No matter what it is, no matter if it's old school, new school, no matter what the situation is, hard work is undefeated. So we're gonna chop it up. Today, also I'm joined by my man Mad Chad is in the building. I want to welcome everybody from the that's watching from a bird's eye view and everybody that's topped in the chat. What's up, guys? What's going on with you guys, man? Peace. What's going on, Pete? What's going on, Chucky, Mad Chad?
Hey,
What's up with you
dude, good
guys?
to be with you again. Happy New Year.
No doubt. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Good to be with you, Duke. Always.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Chucky, man, let's start with my man Chucky Brown, man. Tell everybody about your travels, man, who you are, and your journey, man, in NBA.
Chucky Brown, 13-year NBA veteran, 4-year college veteran. Well, I don't know if you call college a veteran, but 4-year college amateur. But won a 95 championship with the Houston Rockets. Record for most teams played on in the NBA, which I wear with a badge of honor. Just shows your resilience. Like you said, I'm a classic case of hard work because I never consider myself one of the most talented guys, but I never let nobody outwork me. So that's it.
No doubt, man. What's up, man? Pete, man, big Swede.
Sweet.
What's going on, big fella? What's up with you, man? Tell everybody about you, who you are, man. Your journey, man. What's going on?
Yeah, Pete Koch, and I'm before Swede. I was I played my college football at the University of Maryland, and we were in the ACC back then. So we were ACC champions proudly. My senior year when I was captain of that team as first round draft pick in the NFL, bounced around. Not nearly as much as Chucky, but I played for 3 teams, the Bengals, Chiefs, for most of my career, the Chiefs. And then I finished with the, at that time, Los Angeles Raiders, which was a real blessing to finish with them and had teammates like Marcus Allen and Howie Long, Tim Brown, all Hall of Famers. It was a hell of a team. And then mixed throughout that career and what I'm doing even still is acting. Some people know me from the Clint Eastwood classic film Heartbreak Ridge. I played the Swede. So, but in addition to that role, I've been in about 40 films, about another 40 TV shows, and I guess about 3 dozen television commercials. So I'm just hammering away at that. And then to keep it all glued together, I'm a fitness professional. I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I work with folks privately. I'm passionate about staying fit myself personally, leading from the front. And we've got a problem in this country. 80% of the adult population is overweight, and I'm trying to do something about it.
No doubt, man. That's what's up, man. Up and coming guy, man. Mad Chad Boxing, man. Go subscribe to him. I want you guys to go subscribe, my man, the #1 grinder in the building. Real talk. Go subscribe to my girl, Almond Brown 09 in the building. My man, Mad Chad, tell everybody who you are and what you're about. Up and coming guys, very knowledgeable about what he's talking about. Go ahead, Mad Chad.
Hey. Happy New Year, everybody. Big Duke, man. I feel like the fourth wheel here. I got a PhD, a Portland High School diploma up here in Portland, Maine, definitely hanging out with these world-class athletes that, played with the best athletes in the whole entire world, Chucky and the big Swede over there, world-class Hollywood, top of the line, Big Duke, himself hanging with the best, ripping down backboards. I mean, come on, I'm hanging here with 3 legends, and I am honored. I'm honored. It's a blessed New Year. What a way to ring in the New Year, hanging out with you guys, man. I am honored. I love the sports. I'm a big fan of both you guys' career. I mean, Pete, I'm interested to hang out with Boomer. You and Boomer were on that Maryland team, I believe. And, what a fun team that was. And like you say, the difference between pros and college. I mean, how much fun, because you guys were both 4-year college athletes, right? Is that correct?
Right.
So how much fun would you guys have more fun in college or the pros? I mean, sorry, Big Duke, for just asking this. I'm like a kid in a cookie.
Go ahead. You got it. Go ahead.
because I run across a lot of athletes, and they always seem to bring back that college life and that college time spent on the competitive field. And well, what's your take on that one, fellas, real quick?
I'll jump in and say fun. If fun is the operative word in the question, I want to say college.
Yeah.
Because there's I think the expectation was, at least for me going in, like I was just a skinny kid, felt like I was lucky just to get a scholarship to play football anywhere. And so I had nothing to lose except, kind of enjoy the process. I needed to develop madly. I never started until my senior year. So I was just committed to developing my body in the weight room. I was passionate and loved all the time spending with the guys. I loved going to practice because it was a chance to get around 100 of the guys that I loved and get better at something and do it together. It's not a perfect system, and all the coaches and all that wasn't perfect all the time. And it is stressful at times to balance the academics. It was a real challenge for me, like it is a lot of guys. But there's no professional level pressure there. It's a different thing at the next level. So fun, yeah, I'll take my college days.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that. I would definitely say, like, for the fun factor, definitely college, because like Pete said, it was no, the expectations were definitely different, and you're around your guys all the time, and you're being silly and hanging out, and you're kind of growing up together in college. So you have a lot of fun, and when you go to the pros, that first year, like I know at least my first year, it probably took about 2 years for me to figure out, like, this is a business. You better, you got guys like every year they're guys coming in, to get your job pretty much. So, it's still fun, but not as much fun. But it's a business. But I definitely got to say that college for the fun factor, definitely, college days were definitely more fun than the pros.
I will say this, guys, even though I ain't make it to that level, man, I would say this, Mad Chat, for me, it was the speed of the game. It's a whole nother speed, man. Like especially with the hoops and stuff like that, man, because you got everybody on your level. You think college is fast. When you get in the league level, man, everybody's your same size, everybody's faster than you, bigger than you and stuff like that. And on top of that, the game, you got to pick it up, man. It's studying involved. It's a lot more studying involved. So, and nobody's really gonna hold your hand in that situation. I'm not really too Pete, you can attest to that as far as like I heard it as far as like in the league, the speed of the game, like some of the guys come from college and stuff like that, but the speed of the game just overwhelms them and they just get sucked up in it. So that's what I would say, Chad.
Good stuff. It's just good stuff to know. And you see so many college athletes these days, the elite ones, just the one and the dones. And I think a lot of them ought to take that experience, spend a little time in college. And I think you just grow as a man. You just kind of learn and you're such a sponge at that age. And I think so many athletes these days are just hopping into this big fire, this competitive, like you guys said, the fun and the whole business. It becomes a business where every year someone wants a spot, and it's about the Benjamins more than the team and the unity, because teams change every year in the NBA, as Chucky knows. I mean, in the college, you usually get the same squad, the same coaches, and But it's just good to hear from you guys. And like Big Duke says, the speed of the game is such difference, and that's what you definitely see. It's just so sped up. And in the work ethic, if you're not having that over the top work ethic, you're not going to last unless you're just a complete freakazoid,
Right.
Even then, your shelf life ain't going to be that long.
Right. That's right.
Let me say this real quick. Salute the people that came into the building. Mr. Pass, what's going on, man? Salute to you. Happy New Year. Shirley E, the Quiet Storm. Happy New Year. KC, what's good with you, fam? Happy New Year. King Wage, what's going on, man? Happy New Year. Thanks for everybody being in the building, man. Happy New Year to you and your fam. But I want to get into this, fellas, man. We talk about this a lot, man. Me and Chuck and Pete probably got into it a little bit. As far as like these injuries, I got some videos I want to show, man, as far as like going back to the game versus, when we was coming through the ranks versus today. And again, I think it's in the common denominator is hard work. It's undefeated. No matter what generation you fit into, hard work is undefeated no matter what. You got to put in that work. So I will say this, guys, man. What say you? Any one of you guys can tackle this right here. What say you as far as like the mentality, I mean, versus when you guys was coming through the ranks versus what you see now, Pete with training people and Chuck with coaching guys?
I would say that well, the game is because I played in the 80s. The game was forever changed in really the mid 90s when they made rule changes, and it all started with the autopsy of Mike Webster, the center, the longtime Hall of Fame center, 4-time Super Bowl champion that I played against. Although he was probably 10 years older than me. He was late in his career. No, he's probably 12 years older than me. And it was a thrill to play against him, but he died young, and his brain, he was autopsied, and I think it's a very well-known story. And it was determined that he had CTE, a disease of the brain that's only caused by trauma, and it's unusual, and it's normally only found in people that have been in like a car accident. And over the span of years and a lot of study, it was pieced together that the constant repetitive hits to the helmet football players were undergoing was damaging the brains of many NFL football players. They began to change the rules, and the game is for those that are younger than 50, it might sound funny, but the game is less violent now than it was, and it's righteously less violent. The guys are still big, fast, stronger than ever, but the helmet to helmet hits are now a penalty, a violation. You can be ejected from the game. In fact, at the college, high school, all the levels. So it's made the game better from the standpoint of being safer, but the game is also ultimately less violent. Now, it's a better, and it hasn't. The good news is it hasn't impacted the popularity. The sport's never been more popular, which is the good news, because it was some people saying, well, if the NFL game was less violent, less people are going to want to turn it on. Turns out that that's not the case. So that's the biggest change that I've seen in my lifetime.
Let me say this before I go to Chuck. You had two dogs, man. You had, what they call a dog one with the guy that just go get it, like Ronnie Lott. What was the guy that played, man, for the Raiders? I forget his name. He was a straight dog, man. I think he played in safety. I forget it. I forget his position, but he
Lester
was
Hayes.
Lester Hayes.
Yeah.
Lester Hayes was a straight dog, man. So you know what I'm saying? So Chuck, who? In your time, just to sit there and piggyback off what Pete was talking about, who you figured that was a straight dog besides what we talked about 2 weeks ago, Vernon Maxwell, in today's versus, coming up and now that you can compare with?
In today's game, who I think is a complete dog in today's game? I look at a guy like a Patrick Beverly. He's a total dog. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll get nasty out there. I think Patrick Beverly, he's one of my favorite dogs. I think Giannis got a little bit in him for a superstar. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the superstars back in You don't think so?
No.
Hold on. Let me finish, Duke. Okay, let me finish. Now, see, years ago, like the superstars, in the NBA, you didn't have to be a dog on the team. Like you always had like a guy like a Charles Oakley who was beside, Jordan had Charles Oakley. Patrick Ewing had Charles Oakley too. So they didn't have to be dogs, because you had like Dream had Otis Thorpe. So you had the guys there, like if something was going down, where that you had that guy to come in and protect, your superstar player. But I do think Giannis has a lot of dog in him, a lot of old school dog in him, though, Duke. Hey, we got to sit down and watch the tape, Duke. We got to talk about that with Duke.
Now, I would sit there and say, Mr. Paz said Marcus Smart. I think Marcus Smart
is
one of those.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's a straight up dog.
Very much so. Marcus Smart has a lot of dog in him, and you see the guys that have a lot of dog in them, like say if it goes like when they go for a loose ball and they get the loose ball, say the officials come in, like usually you have the guys, act like they want to do something, But when you got the dudes with the dog and the dude, they'll just get the ball, just go ahead, all right, just jump ball, whatever it is, they'll just go ahead the other way because they know that if they start something with this guy, that it's not going to stop. You know, like we talked about, you know, Vernon Maxwell was a guy like that. You know, Anthony Mason was another guy like that. Derek Coleman, you know, those are like old school dog, but like the new school guys that I think that could play, because the NBA has also cut down on the physicality where, you know, like a lot of these like hard fouls, they've taken them out. Like they would just call playoff fouls, you know. And now, you know, you could get ejected for those fouls. But I think like Marcus Smart, I think Patrick Beverly, I think Giannis, you know, I think guys like that, I think they could play like in an old school NBA setting because, you know, they're physical. And I think like a lot with the basketball training, like we did a lot of the Olympic style lifting. I don't think that they do those like the power cleans and stuff like that. We used to do those things, you know what I'm saying? Shoulder press and all those type of things. We used to do those Olympic style lifts. I don't think they do those anymore. They do a lot of different type of training because, you know, like I have two daughters that they're D1 athletes and they do, you know, like this new style of training. But, you know, when they train with me, I throw a little bit of the Olympic style lifting in there. And, you know, I think it helps them, you know, with the explosive style lifts and stuff like that.
Yeah, the chat going in, guys. They calling out some good names, man. Mad Chat, I know you want to get in here. I know you around there firing off, man. But they saying some real names, man. You got Moses Malone, Ben Wallace, man. Jack, those guys and stuff like that. Chat, you want to get in there and ask us something before we start getting into the video clips?
Real quick about having the dog on your team. I think it's so important to have that ingredient on your team. You know, everybody's not going to be the dog. You're going to have your Deion Sanders. You're going to have your Ronnie Lotz. You know what I mean? Like that, you know, Deion's a dog, but he ain't that guy that may go head first for the fucking, you know what I mean? He might going to look pretty, you know, and Jack Lambert be missing his tooth, the middle linebacker for the Steelers. Like, that's a dog, you know, just an undersized middle linebacker, a little undersized Butkus, just a Jack Lambert, just a dog. And then in basketball, like you say, Marcus Smart, I'm a big Celtics fan. When he played in college there, he was a first-round draft pick, but he had that dog in him immediately. The dog popped off the screen, like when you watched him play in college. I was living in Indianapolis at the time, and I'm like, wow, I hope the Celtics get this kid. He's a dog. I think that was one of the first thing I say. And I think the work ethic is there. It's something that I see today when I go to these local games, even the college games here locally. You don't see many kids diving for the loose balls. You don't see many kids getting the big burns, you know, the big burns on your arms. When we played, you were fucking fighting for the ball. You ripped somebody's arm off for that ball because without the ball, you can't do nothing. And so many kids, they just watch the ball. There's too many ball watchers. They don't want to dive and get dirty. I go to a baseball game. Nobody's Pete Rose no more. Nobody's diving head first. The uniforms are all clean at the end of the game. I go, you play 9 fucking innings and you're clean. Come on. The dog might has left. It's like a shaman soft generation. I hate to say it, but you know, the dog flies off and the dog, that work ethic is undefeated. But if you have that dog, no matter how your skill level is, if you bring that dog, it translates to any sport outside the competitive sport and the work area. If you got that dog, you can travel.
And I'm gonna say this, Pete, that pendulum swing both ways to you. I think my man LT, the grinder dropped in that LT, you know what I'm saying? So he was a straight up dog, you know what I'm saying? Wilbert Marshall and all those guys and stuff like that. Your buddy that you was on the line with, Howie Long, you know what I'm saying? You talking about was a straight up monster, man. So you go ahead and you get in there, man, and talk about that a little bit before we get into the video clips, man.
Yeah, I mean, Howie Long was,
sorry for swearing, Duke. Sorry for the language. I got fired.
You good, fam, man? It's good. Is everything free tonight? Here, man. You good? Let it go.
Yeah, Howie Long was. It was very interesting throughout my career because I played the same position as he did. Basically, you know, we're defensive linemen, and the difference between playing a 2 technique and a 5 technique is considerable, but it was still playing the same game, putting a hand on the ground and getting after it. And that's what defensive linemen do. And when I first got in the league and then for 4 years, I watched Howie Long. And when I was with the Chiefs, of course, we're both playing defense, but I would see him play up close, and he, along with Bruce Smith, with the Bills, Buffalo Bills, and Reggie White, with the Eagles, then Packers. They, to me, were the dogs, of the defensive line of my generation. And it's certainly a mindset, but that mindset alone, I mean, when you're talking about the Mount Rushmore, of people that have that dog mindset, but also physical playing abilities, those three guys I just named, Long, Smith, and White, they were exceptionally gifted too. And the problem is, I don't know that it's a problem, but I'll say, and Chucky could probably really give us a tutorial on this as a coach, a longtime coach. But if an athlete, the more gifted an athlete is, and to get to the level all of us got to, we had some gifts. But when you're talking about Hall of Fame gifts, sometimes an athlete can rely on those physical gifts and not connect it with the emotion, with the dedication that requires to optimize. So I kind of felt like I didn't quite have the physical gifts of Howie Long and Reggie White. I wished I had, but I tried to compete the best I could in different ways, and that included an incredible dedication to my personal strength conditioning, my power development, in season, off season was always a huge focus for me. And I did some off season hypnotherapy, sports hypnotherapy to help get my mind to work, which is a combination of being relaxed. Football's an interesting game, much different than basketball is always going. Football, I tell people, is think of it this way: it's 6 seconds of abject violence punctuated by a 30-second timeout. So you have to, you really want to get yourself relaxed and collected during those 30 seconds so that you can optimize what the hell's going to happen when that ball snaps, because all hell's going to break loose for 6 seconds.
Damn, I never thought about it like that, Pete.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we want to adapt that mindset into the game experience, and we're better for it once we can really get our head around that. And it takes some discipline. Anyway, that's just one example of how I would try to prepare myself to be the best that I possibly could be. Salute.
Chad, you want to ask him something before I ask Chucky something before we get into the clips, man? You want to ask something else, or you good?
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, I'm just sitting back, man. I could listen to Chucky and Pete talk all day.
Man, for real.
I mean, this is good shit, too. This is as good as it gets. I feel like I'm part of that ESPN roundtable talking with two legends. It's just.
I want to say this. Yeah. I want to say this, Chuck, man. I don't think I ever asked you this, man, but how was it playing against my GOAT, Michael Jordan? How was that, man? Like, what was that experience like? Even as long as I've been knowing, you don't even think I picked your brain on that. Like, man, that's my GOAT. I know it's a lot of, we got a lot of difference out there, but that's my GOAT. How was that, man?
It was a great experience. I may have had to switch on him a couple of times. I was always guarding Scotty though. So every now and then I had to switch off on Mike. But I mean, you could see like those type of guys, like, Mike, like Dream, Doc, those guys, you could see like a different sort of focus. Like you could see, it was just something different that you could tell about them. But it was a great experience. Jordan was a big trash talker, but it was nothing degrading to you where you wanted to fight him. It was always something to make you laugh. Like I can remember one night we played, I was with New Jersey, and we were playing the Bulls in Jersey, and Sam Bowie had switched off on him. So he was up at the top of the key. So I'm up at the top on one elbow. I can't remember who the other guy was on the other elbow. We kind of waiting for him to drive because we know he probably going to drive it. So he told Sam, he jab stepping and said, I'm about to take you, and I'm about to get an and one. And right when he said and one, he took off, and he went, flipped it up, and got an and one. Then he walked away. He said, "I told you." So it was nothing like the great. So it was, it was great to play against. And I can remember another story where I'm playing in Phoenix, and he's Steve Nash had switched off on him, and he scored and got an and one. So the next play down, we got a foul, so we stand at the free throw line up, and he tells Steve Nash, he said, you had a little bit of a disadvantage there, huh? So it was like trash talking, but it wasn't anything degrading. But it was always fun to play against him. Like, when he had his camps down here in Wilmington, he would invite me to come to his camps, and I would go to his camps, and we would play in front of the kids and stuff like that. But Mike was cool. But it was fun and a joy to play against him, because he would talk trash, but it was nothing like, at least I didn't get that end of it out. Now Gary Payton, them guys might have got a little bit more, because they would fire back at him, and they would try to accept that challenge, which is good. You're a pro athlete, you should accept that challenge. But they probably got a little bit more venom than I ever heard from them or got. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. I'm gonna ask you, man. Armin Brown 09 just dropped a real fire question, fellas, man. Any one of you guys can answer this. She said, "How do you teach that to an athlete that thinks their talent is all they need?" And that was going back to what Pete, you were talking about, as far as like, when a kid who think that talent is superior to everything else. So any one of you guys can tackle that.
Yeah, well, I would just jump in and say, this is why it's so important. This is why training camp, and maybe, I know basketball blows my mind. These guys play all the time, like play year round. There's off-season camps and tournaments and the things available. I know I've seen that these NBA guys would come and play at UCLA in the off-season. I'm like, God, I mean, it's incredible that you don't burn out, because football, you got to give it a break. But and Michael Jordan was famous for this, right? In the tent that he built when he was shooting the movie
Space Jam.
You're right, on the Warner Brothers lot. We all saw that in the documentary. So what was he doing? Really, why did Michael Jordan go through the trouble of building a tent and inviting his friends to play? Because he knew this. He knew that to keep his blade sharp, and he's a warrior. He's a general of the highest order. He needed to steel sharpen steel.
Yep.
And you put that steel blade of Michael Jordan, and you put it up against something inferior, copper or lead, and it will destroy the copper, but eventually it's gonna dull the steel.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, you need to routinely and adopt the mindset that you will always and look for it. And don't be bashful of it. Don't be afraid of it, but accept the challenge to compete in everything. Compete in the weight room. Compete in off-season drills.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Against the best.
Hell
Steel
yeah,
sharp
man.
steel.
Hell yeah, all day, Pete. Hell yeah. Let me drop this on you real quick. Hell yeah, man. That's always compete. Always compete. Go ahead.
Golf clap.
Go ahead. You got it, man. You stupid.
Yeah. I'm a piggyback on that, because even now, coaching high school, what I try to do with my guys is every drill we do, we compete. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to get our mindset in a competition mode, compete at all things. Like when we're doing sprints at the end, we're competing. We're doing shooting drills, we're competing. You know what I'm saying? So, we're shooting free throws, we're competing. So I think that that's a big thing. I think a lot, with today's generation, I think some things, at least in basketball, some things needed to change, but there are some things that always needed to stay the same. And that's about the work ethic, like we talked about. That work ethic always had to stay the same. And like Pete was talking about, iron sharpening iron, steel sharpening steel. I mean, you don't want anything to be too easy. You know what I'm saying? Because when it's too easy, where do you get that challenge? You know what I'm saying? We all need those challenges. So I think that with the kids today, I think you have to definitely make them compete. And I think people get on LeBron about building his teams and stuff like that. You get up a group of good guys on one team. That probably is bad for like the culture of basketball. Because like back in the day, you like they always talk about, Isaiah would never team with Michael Jordan, or Larry Bird would never team with Isaiah Thomas. They always had fun competing against one another. And I think that's what, we need to get back to, competing with one another. And I know the best games that I've ever had were competing against my friends. Then afterwards, we go get something to eat. We'd go at it, and then we go get something to eat afterwards. It wasn't, it wasn't anything personal. We were there to make each other better.
Facts, man. Let's get into these video clips, man. I'm not gonna hold you guys too much longer, but the first thing is we're gonna talk about from a football standpoint, Pete, and going through these injuries and stuff like that, and it's for me. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I had a young son, I probably wouldn't let him play football like that right now with the concussions and stuff like going on and stuff like that. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably try to veer him and let him play baseball or something like that. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? Because I have seen it. Fortunate enough, I have never been in a concussion state and stuff like that. So let's get into this first clip. Pete, it's on you. I want you to check it out. I'm gonna give you the first dibs at it. But check this out, guys. Let's get into it. Let's go.
Just whacking it every time my heart beats.
Okay.
I'm gonna fucking cry.
No, you're not gonna cry.
Pause on me. Oh.
Are you warm, sweetie?
Yeah, I'm fucking sweating like a pig.
Are we still here? Can y'all hear me? Everybody froze?
Yeah, I hear you.
I hear you.
Ah, shit. Hold on, guys. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me refresh. Hold on a second. Hold tight. God dog it. Hold tight. Let me get out of here. Oh, man.
Hey, fellas. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's funny, like when you look at like just say Tom Brady and Ryan Leaf and like the quarterback the Raiders took, it's like that work ethic. Like if you look at it, you look at a Ferrari, if it doesn't have the right engine and if it ain't racing you got to be around the best. The best need to shop, iron sharpens iron. You see it in boxing so many times where the best aren't fighting the best. But when Big Duke gets back, we'll let him take it off. But I tell the people I coach, I've done a little coaching. You have to have the head, heart, and balls working at 100% at that level of eliteness. They have everything in sync. Bobby Knight used to say, mental to physical is 4:1. And it's so true because, it's going to catch up with you if you're just gifted as an athlete. It can only take you so far. To dominate at a level, but when you get to the level of the person that the same athletic gifts as you, but with a work ethic and mental and physically focused, and sacrificing, you're going to be left behind big time.
Yeah, I agree with that. 1,000%, man. I think that there's some guys they still made the Hall of Fame, but if they would have had better work ethic, I think that they could have had longer careers. And I think that they relied on their talent only. But when you get to the NBA, like Duke was talking about earlier, like when I first came out, like, I'm like 6'8", and I get to the league and I got 6'11" cats that's moving like me. And I'm like, God almighty. So, you have to have that work ethic in order to stick around, I think, for the longevity or I think what happens is injuries come into play because you need to get in that weight room for the injury prevention. Because I tell my kids all the time, like, that's injury prevention and injury recovery. If you do get hurt, you'll be able to come back quicker because your body's strong.
Yep. And I'm gonna go ahead and get into the clip, guys. Let's get into it again.
Okay.
Keep up on you. You up first. So let's check it out. Let's go.
Kneecap, just whacking it every time my heart beats.
Okay.
I'm gonna fucking cry.
No, you're not gonna cry.
Fair use.
You're not gonna cry. Are you warm, sweetie?
Yeah, I'm fucking sweating like a pig. I feel like I am. Just hot.
On any given day, you can walk into past and you can find players that come with a variety of issues. For example, today we have Randy Grimes, who is a 10-year veteran of the NFL, played center for the Tampa Bay Bucks, just underwent a very painful knee replacement, who is in recovery, and we're trying to get his pain in control, and we can't because of his addiction history.
I am. I'm going to chew through that damn lock into that morphine. And I'm going to put that little sippy straw in there like a juice box.
Lucas buys time.
Downstairs, we have Ray Lucas, who is a quarterback for the New York Jets. And today, Ray's in the peer group with Brad Leggett, who played for a short time in the NFL, and Charlie Brown, who played for the Washington Redskins.
Charlie Brown.
He was
I'm gonna stop it right there, Pete. So you have a lot of parents right now who are afraid to put their kid in some type of sports due to a lot of issues like this. You know what I'm saying? And the most one of the most cases of this was Junior Seau. So go ahead, brother. You can take it wherever you want to go with it. Go ahead, man. You got it.
Yeah, you know, that clip, I'm familiar with the folks in it was a Stacy Smith, I think, in the clip, and I know her, and and she's been an advocate for NFL and NBA players that have health-wise come on hard times, you know, after their careers have ended. It's a complex subject, and I'll you know, too much to unpack right here, but because I am quite familiar with it, and so I can speak to the NFL and say this, that there's in the 35 years I've been out of the game, I've seen enormous strides made to make sure that former NFL players don't fall through a safety net, the ones that are on hard times, health-wise, financially, emotional, mental health is a big one. And that there's guys that have and will always be guys that played the game and are in need of assistance to get through their lives. And this is no different than what's happening in society as a whole, although I suppose, and I don't know the statistics, because of the number of head traumas that NFL players and orthopedic traumas, you know, and I've had 7 orthopedic surgeries myself, 8, I guess. So 3 while I was playing and 5 since then. And it's all pretty much NFL, you know, football related. But you know, I found a way to, you know, to manage my way through it. But it is a difficult topic, a subject, and some guys just aren't really built, you know, to manage these things well. And if they get addicted to painkillers, et cetera, that's a problem not unique to professional athletes, former professional athletes, but society in general. What I would say to parents, to answer your question, is I think it's a part. It's I wouldn't view it as any more than one single part of a puzzle. And answering the question, do you think that signing your kid up for contact football is the right thing to do? I would never advise a parent what to do there, except that they should think carefully about it.
Facts. Good point. Chuck, you want to get in on that before we continue the clip?
Yeah. I'll piggyback off that. I think that you know, you should really weigh the positives and negatives of it before, like Pete said, I wouldn't tell anybody to do that. But I know, like, seeing like I see some guys like former like older NBA guys, like some of them, you know, have issues, you know, walking and stuff like that, because like people think that basketball is not as much contact as football. And like football, like Pete was talking about, you had that 6 seconds of like violence that you're about to go. Then you have like a 30-second timeout. You know, basketball's a little different. Basketball, you change speeds. So, you know, we don't never, I ain't gonna say we never, but we hardly ever go like full tilt for a long period of time. You might sprint the lane a couple times. hard, but for the most part, basketball is about changing speeds. But there is a lot to unpack there because you do have a lot of like I see a lot of basketball guys that when you go to the All-Star breaks and you see them, and like guys that are my age, I'm 53, and you see guys that have issues getting around and stuff like that, and it's really it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to see.
Guys, real quick, I'm gonna go ahead on. I know my man Chuck is pressed for time, so I'm gonna drop the link a little bit early, man. So if you got something you want to say or you want to contribute to the conversation, go ahead on and come up, man, and ask my man Chuck some questions, my man Pete some questions. So the link right there is there. You know what I'm saying? So if you got something you want to ask Chuck before you get up out of here, go ahead on and come on up. In the meantime, man, like I said, it's one of those things, but this actually transcends to the fitness world as well, guys, man. Like a lot of stuff that we did, like Chuck was saying earlier, the cleans, the Olympic lifts that we did back in the day, it's not really teach that much nowadays. You know what I mean? It's not like it's at the forefront. A lot of stuff is with TRX bands, which is a great exercise. You know what I mean? It's a lot of new age stuff like that with the kettlebells and stuff like that. So a lot of that stuff transcends rather to the fitness realm as well as the sports realm as well. So the link right there, guys, is in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead on and hop on. You know what I'm saying? If you want to come up, go ahead and come up. Go ahead, Matt Chat. You want to add something to this before we continue?
No, just these guys are warriors. I mean, what they go through, and like they were playing back in the day. There's so many athletes that their career was over. The doctor, the technology was so far behind. There's so many baseball players, until the Tommy John surgery players, when they blew that out, they were done. And that now a lot of these injuries back in the day, even the helmets weren't as safe as they are today. The turf at Veterans Stadium at Philadelphia, it was concrete. Now, it's like those. It was just brutal what these players had to go through, and they had to play. It's a business, like we're saying. You get there's always someone right there. If you're hurt and the other person goes in and they shine, who the fuck are you? It's all about it's now. And so many athletes, they play through these injuries. They shouldn't be playing. They are just so because they have to. It's their thing. And shout out to all these athletes that have suffered these injuries. Like the big Swede was saying, shout out to Mr. Webster, the center there. I mean, this guy, you look at his helmet, you could just see the paint of the other opponent's helmets embedded into this Pittsburgh Steelers helmet. And he was, it was so sad how he passed away. And but these athletes that go with, we just saw the film clip of the operation there. I mean, these guys go through a lot of punishment up and down the court. And, football, what a brutal sport. And it is more comfortable, and not more comfortable, it's safer today than it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Wow. Shout out to all these warriors.
I'm going to say this too before I continue the clip. Pete, wasn't it Tom Brady? He had fought something like he wanted the old school helmet. They was trying to change the helmet up or something like that. Then he wanted to sit there and keep like the old version of the helmet or something like that. He really fought against the league about that situation.
Yeah, that you're jogging my memory. There was a player, quite possibly, who that's a big topic that really doesn't get talked about much.
Right.
And I don't know that much about it, but just understand that there's been many incarnations of helmet design that NFL players use. When I was in the league, and I played for 3 different organizations. And so you would go and get issued a helmet, and the equipment manager would say, what brand do you wear? And if I can remember, there was 3 different brands when I played, 3 or 4. A lot of these companies kind of went away or merged with other companies. My understanding that there still are. It's clearly, if you look carefully, you can see guys are wearing different branded helmets. They're slightly different style, but they all have to pass a standard. And I don't know the details of how the NFL, I think they outsource to a company that uses engineering and testing of those products so that company can do business with the NFL. And beyond that, it's up to. And what happened was a particular model of a helmet was taken off the list of approved helmets for NFL players, but a player still petitioned that he still wanted to wear an older style. And I think finally they said that was fine, but he had to sign a waiver, right? That if he had a head problem, a head injury, that it wasn't their fault. So yeah, that's the way that went. But the NFL's very, I've heard people say for years and years, well, if the guys in the NFL are getting concussions from head hits, why don't they just make the helmets better or just put more padding inside? I mean, if it were that simple, it'd be great. But it's a very complex engineering problem, and these are billion-dollar equipment manufacturers and teams of engineers trying to figure out the best way to make helmets for player safety. There's a lot of thought that's been going on, particularly the last 20 years.
Facts, man. Facts. And so I would just sit there and say this, man, before y'all get out of here, man. The best advice, what we would try to give you guys, man, if your son, wanted to play like one of these real hard contact sports, use your best judgment, do your research. We're not trying to tell anybody don't do it, but use your best judgment to actually, if you want to put your son in that situation, go ahead and do it, man. If not, then, that's on you. So that's what we're saying here. So let's continue the clip, guys. Let's go.
A perennial Pro Bowler, played in 2 Super Bowls, and now suffers from really severe post-concussion issues.
First of all, thanks for coming today. It's good that we're here to do this in person.
Here at PASS, these peer sessions, they share their experiences, they share what's going on with them now, they open up, and it's really a first step to getting them to open up to the rest of the medical team.
You get dizzy at all?
All the time.
You guys getting dizzy at all?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sometimes. You get those tremors?
I don't have the tremors, but what I do get, I get tons of stars. I got that this morning. I mean, tons of blue little stars.
When you say tremors, like physically shaking?
Yeah, and I guess probably maybe a year ago, not all the time, but every once in a while, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
And I don't mean any disrespect, Charlie, but when I listen to you, it scares the shit out of me that I'm 13 years away from sitting where you're sitting, and I'm colorblind for my concussions. I do have the migraine headaches, and like my head is just starting to go.
I think that there's a misconception. You hear a lot about, well, gosh, these guys brought it on themselves. They've, pissed away millions of dollars. They've gambled. They've done drugs and created these conditions that they find themselves in due to their own behaviors. And in most cases, that's simply just not true.
Like you have what's called.
I'm going to stop right there. And I'm going to say this I know all 3 of my brothers right here can share this right here. We so competitive, guys. What you guys don't understand, even with me, my shoulder surgery earlier this year, it was in April. I wanted to use the 20-pound dumbbells, and they were just like, scale it back. We know you can use those, but you need to work on the little intangible muscles, the little small muscles. Grab those 5-pound dumbbells, grab those 3-pound dumbbells, and build up yourself like that instead of just going for the 20s. But it's this guy here, when he was having the surgery, we so competitive, like Chuck said, competing. We want to compete so bad. So any type of surgery or injury, we want to just sit there and go full steam ahead and just go right to it and say, nope, take some time, take a step back, let your body heal itself first before you go ahead and proceed into the next venture. Go ahead, guys. Y'all got it.
Yeah, no, this is a common issue. I've, at different times, I've been very much connected to I'm the former president of the NFL Players Association here, Los Angeles. I've got a huge network of former NFL players. Like I said, I'm familiar with that organization past, which was really helpful. And I've got a personal bias because that past organization helped me get surgery on my neck. That organization's based in New Jersey. Actually, I was in that building where those guys are right there. That's from a few years back. And I will say this, that sometimes when you get away from the game, professional athletes do get coddled, and you have so many people helping you with your medical problems, all kinds of things, that sometimes when you're some players, former players, really struggle to find their way when they're on their own. It can be, listen, even if you never played football, navigating insurance policies with injury and setting up an appointment to have a surgery, it's daunting for most anyone, no less if you've got really complex medical problems. So that's where that past organization came in to help players out. I think things today, increasingly, I know I'm repeating myself, but I can speak just to the NFL former players, that there's a network, and it comes from two directions. It comes from the National Football League offices on Park Avenue in New York City, and also the NFL Players Association, which is our union, and they're based in Washington, D.C. So there are resources available, blessedly, for players in need. Just so folks, it doesn't get any publicity or attention, nor should it. But for that community, there's about 20,000 men on the planet that played in the National Football League. I think it's about 22,000. And about half of them played long enough to get vested and earn a pension and benefits. Sadly, only about half. And that's our group. We try to do the best we can.
And that's all you can do, fam. I want to welcome, guys, my sister Beach to the panel. When you Beach, you got the floor, you got the mic, whatever you want to contribute to the conversation. Go ahead.
I got some mic issues. I'm so sorry, y'all. I may have to come out and come in.
All right.
I can't hear anybody. I don't know if y'all can hear me. My sound.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
I'm trying to fix it.
Yeah, she'll be right back, Chuck. I think she want to ask you something. But yeah, man, it's one of those things, man, and that contribute to us, man. Pete, like when I met you, we was working out, and that right there, guys. Again, this is sports and fitness talk, and it transcends to that, man. Like when I met you, we was working hard. You saw me. I was like, yo, what's that over there, man? You said, yo, Andrew, that's Pete Koch. I'm like, hey, that's cool. But it was that competitiveness. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Chuck. We met on the basketball court. What's up, Chuck? What's going on? Cool. And I tell the story all the time. We was in the locker room, man. Listen, I was back there, Pete, with Josh Howard, Chris Paul, Rodney Rogers. There was no, oh man, let me get your autograph. I'm like, you see me, I see you. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So we was on the same team, but we gonna get it. We gonna do it. So it wasn't even about that. It's a whole about that competitive spirit that you got to have inside you, man. That's one thing. Whether you from the 80s or you from the 2000s, hard work is undefeated. Go ahead, Chuck. You got it, man.
Yeah. I totally agree, Duke. And I got to run. And I hate to leave because Pete is here, but I normally wouldn't tell why I got to go, but I got to tell why I got to go. So every year my neighbor has a cookie party. So don't judge me. I have to go to this cookie party. I have to go to this cookie party. Because and I have to go because she uninvited people so that my family could come. So she didn't want to have a whole lot of people. So I gotta go now. So I gotta run for that. But like I said, like you said, Duke, hard work is undefeated, man. And just like I said, a lot of things in sports, they should change, but the one thing that should never change is the hard work and the competitive part of it. But I just wanted to thank you for having me. And Pete, I'm gonna have Duke give you my information. I want to get yours. If I'm ever out in Santa Monica again, I definitely want to give you a call. And I hate to have to run, but I gotta do the cookie party thing. So I live with my wife. So if I don't go, y'all know how that goes.
I know, right? I got you, Chuck. I give you everything. I'll call you later on.
Okay, Duke. All right. Hey, Pete, I'll holler at you, man.
You got it. Look forward to that. Right. Thank you.
Y'all be good, man.
Appreciate you.
Man, easy. Yeah, go ahead, Chad. You got it, fam. Take it from here. Matter of fact, Chad, hold down the panel for a quick second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, yeah. Real quick, Big Duke and Pete. Everybody in the chat swinging by to check out the show. Chucky had to run, go get the cookie party. But what a great conversation, and just the sacrifice these athletes go through in the game of football, Pete. When you were back in the day, like I'm saying, Veterans Stadium there, they were playing on cement. I mean, and the rules were so differently. You could just lay people out. It was not that it's not vicious no more, but back in the 70s, 80s, it was just a different type game where you could just decapitate. And it was, Lyle Alzado was just vicious. He was just a crazed animal. Like when Lyle Alzado was in his prime, he was just a ferocious beast. There was like crazed animals in the NFL. And definitely crazed animals with the work ethic. Like there was these God-gifted animals with the highest training facilities being pushed every day, hanging out with the biggest alpha men in the world all together who are getting better. Come on, do the math. I mean, there's just some crazy in the physical toll that it takes on these people's body. It's just incredible because when you're going that fast, when you're that powerful, creating that much torque and force, it's just the body can only take so much. And you just see it in sports, the breakdown with the knees of all these basketball players. A lot of them have trouble walking, and football, let alone the head injuries, but the extremities with the knees and the arms and the backs. It's just brutal. But that's why they get paid the money. And I hate it when people say these athletes are getting paid this and that. I go, well, they're only a percentage. Anybody can go flip a burger or pump gas at the sicko, but these guys are up playing these sports at the competitive level against these world-class athletes, the best in the world that we all want to see. Not many people can hit a baseball 400 feet and throw it 100 miles per hour and run a 4.40 and bench press 500 pounds and have a vertical leap of 40 inches. That's what we want to see. And when they're all out there competing at the highest level, the injuries they go through, it's just horrific. And I just pray and hope that all these athletes, these world-class entertainers, are getting taken care of. It's just sad that a lot of them not. In boxing, you see it brutal because there's no governing sport like an NFL or an MLB, NBA. Boxing is just kind of like a free-for-all. You see so many of these, heroes not too long ago that are basically homeless today because they have no type of pension that the NFL has and these professional sports have. But shout out to all these athletes, Big Duke and Chucky, Brown, Pete, just honored to be here. Everybody in chat, honored.
I'm gonna say this before I give it to you, Pete, and this goes to what Polo the creator said. Football has changed. It's not as brutal, and she's right. My favorite running back, Earl Campbell, he's in a wheelchair now. Just to go to more on your point. So he can't even walk right now. It's one of those things where I look at it as just like, man, damn, you're right. It's not as brutal. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want to add right there. Beat, you good now? You got your sound good?
I think y'all can hear me, but I don't know why y'all are sounding like so low. I got a strain here, so I'm not sure what's going on. Every time this happens, I'm probably going to have to just reboot. If I miss it, I was gonna I'll just try to listen the best I can. It's not that loud in the car. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Okay, well, I'll just have to just listen. Hold on, let me get this back up here. I just have to listen with all my extras. Use my superpowers, my spidey senses. But I was listening to the guy, and I'm like, I did not like seeing people suffering. I don't believe in medication shaming people. I have seen. I know people right now, for whatever fear of taking what they need to take, they're just suffering. And I'm like, why would you do that if you're deemed eligible to take something to help you? I don't care if you find a holistic way, whatever it is, you're just gonna suffer because you got this phobia of, I don't want to have to depend on stuff. Well, guess what? People with cancer don't want to have to depend on chemo. People with a lot of things don't want to have to depend on a lot of stuff. But I get where the addiction comes in over time. You got, people, they up the meds. And I do a lot with pain management, but I just don't understand. like from back in the days, y'all know back, I watched those things like Gladiators, and they would get in the rings. It was a lot more brutal then. These people were fighting like to the death. You got all type of wounds, and nowhere near the medical treatment we had. What do y'all think has changed in our body to where you got people from back then, gladiators, fighting in rings, sometimes to the death, fighting beasts, fighting animals, going out to war, getting wounds and just stitched up on the battlefield, barely any kind of antiseptic or whatever, giving milk of the puppy and all these things that they called, or they had their names. There's nothing new under the sun. You guys know the same things we have now, same things they had then, just in a different form, a different formula. And these same people will come home from wars or from the fighters always drinking elixirs and things to keep their pain down. What has changed from then to now, to where people are acting, pain is presented as, why is it so taboo now, or why should a person feel ashamed or embarrassed? Medication shaming, basically, that they have to have, even if they are dependent, that they have to take certain things to function because they hurt. What happened? Because I don't remember seeing any of that when I study history. I don't see no one making anyone feel bad for having to take something to take another step so they can have a quality function life. What the heck happened?
Go ahead, Pete.
That's all I wanted to ask.
Yeah. I think it's your question is
great
valid.
question.
I think
Hell yeah.
the topic is deep and broad. I have a friend that's a pain management specialist, medical doctor, and one of the things he's discussed, me, fortunately, I've never had a problem with pain pills or any of that. Very fortunate. I feel very fortunate that I never liked taking pills, and it made my body feel worse. Whereas obviously they gravitate to that. It's probably with athletes and former athletes. But he would say to me, for example, once he's got, if a patient has some level of pain, a person has a level of pain, you prescribe them opioids. At the beginning, it works. It truly works. There's no doubt about it. But it's short term. And then in short term, I don't want to stay in my lane. I'm not a medical doctor, but it's a few days, and it's good medicine to help somebody with that pain, to your point, Beach. But at a certain point down the road, day after day after day, you're going to need more dosage to get the same benefit. There's a certain point, I don't know where that is down the road. Not only do you need more medicine to make you feel out of pain, relieve your pain, but at a certain point, this whole formula flips, and that the same medication that was prescribed, or you found another way without a prescription to take these pills, it actually, the more you take it actually turns into something that elevates your level of pain. It flips. So instead of suppressing the pain, it elevates the pain. Now you got a huge problem on your hands. And if you don't take the medicine, you get withdrawal symptoms. Now it's a full-blown mess. So this is I want to qualify myself. I'm a guy with a civil arts degree, certainly not a medical degree, but this is the way, in a very simplistic level, that it's been described to me how these things get complex quickly.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. I think she had muted her mic. Pete, go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's I have listened when I was on one of the professional teams I played for. This is before everybody had a cell phone and texting, right? So they would take a memo. You'd get a piece of paper, a memo from the head coach or memo from the general manager, whatever it was. They would take this, they'd give a memo and stick it in your locker. So you walk in first thing in the morning and you see you had a memo. Oh, let's see. Oh, whatever. We're changing tomorrow's workout practice time. We're changing it from 2:30 to 1:30, whatever. It's come to our attention that player, there was his name, so-and-so, has been asking teammates for pain pills. And this player, we believe, has a problem. And in efforts to help him, please remember that the pain pills prescribed to you are yours for your consumption only.
Right.
That's in the middle of the season. Yeah.
Damn.
But I guess the team felt and the organization felt that was the best thing to do at that time. I knew that player did have a problem. He had asked me for pills all the time. He's asking everybody. But he was a starting, contributing, long veteran player on the team, and he was. I think he's fine now. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's a hell of a thing.
Bruce, if you want to get in on that, you can. Go ahead, bro. Pete, unless you're done, Pete. If you're not done, then go ahead and continue.
No, I'm done. Yeah, that's all I had. That story. Yeah.
Salute to my man Bruce Goes in the building. Go ahead, Bruce. You want to contribute?
Hey, Happy New Year, Duke, Mad Chad, Beach, and Pete Koch. I did a show with you with Duke a few months ago, bro, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember it well. I've been on your channel. Anyway, bro, I speak from experience on the opiate addiction in this country. It wasn't really brought out into the open until just recently. Before that, it was a behind the scenes thing, and they were passing pain pills around like they were aspirin, bro. I mean, and especially in professional sports, if you had a headache, you get a Vicodin. I mean, you were a rock star, bro. I mean, that's how it was. You went to a doctor. The doctor knew what you were there for. I mean, he give you a prescription. Don't abuse these. Wink, wink. I mean, they know what was going on, and now it's just full blown. The doctors are being imprisoned. I mean, pain management clinics are being closed down, and all of a sudden there's a panic. And a lot of these guys, they're left with no other resources. They have to turn to getting their medication illegally, forging prescriptions, turning to heroin. It's a really, really a big problem. It's coming to light now, fortunately. But it's something I'm sure, Pete. We back in the day, you know what I'm talking about, bro. And it's come to light, and these people are getting help, and that's why, Beach. I think people realize, you start taking the pills, and it's not like it was. You can't just stop taking them. So people are leery about even taking them. So sometimes they'll bite the bullet and take the pain if it's not out of control, over 10 off the chart, like cancer or a snap bone, because these things are just made to maintain your sanity while you're healing. But unfortunately, they're just very strong. They were overprescribed. It's beginning to count. It's a full-blown attention now, so I don't think it's as bad as it was. But I just wanted to speak on that a little bit, because my heart goes out to any of those souls that are still struggling with addiction, and especially if it was brought on through innocently taking that to try to continue your career and keep playing, man. It's a tough subject, man. There really is no answer. They're just trying to bring it to light, and they help these people. And like I was saying, a lot of them don't even want to take that first pill because some people just have that addictive personality, and bango, you open up floodgates there. So there's a red flag with painkillers out now. It's well deserved red flag out there.
I would definitely say this. That is one loaded question, Beach. You had opened up Pandora's box. Go there, y'all. Hold down the panel real quick. I got to take this call real quick. Hold down the panel real quick, guys. Go ahead.
Brother Pete, man, last time we talked to you talked about Heartbreak Ridge, Clint Eastwood. That was such a good talk, bro. I mean, I was smiling after that. Bringing back those good times. I watched that movie again, man, and all the characters you mentioned, all the actors, man. Awesome times, man. I can see just watching that movie annually just to get a good laugh. I tell my brothers, I see that Big Sweet. I was on a show with him, man. He'd tear your head off and shoot down your neck, bro.
Yeah, I was so fortunate to be involved in that film, and just like that line right there, that film is. You can just Google like best lines from Clint Eastwood. Really, one of the reasons I think he deserves a lot of credit for it. He crafted himself such an amazing career. Is one of the things is it was important to him that in each of his movies that there be a really memorable 1 or 2 or 3 lines. Dirty Harry, go ahead, make my day. And that was that apparently, you know, the way that I understand that story was that was his, you know, it was his input. And sometimes he wrote those lines, and other times they were written by other people. But he was always, as a director and a filmmaker, saying that this is incredibly important. We need to create an environment where when people are walking out of the theater, they've got at least one line so memorable they can't get it out of their head as they're leaving the theater. And it's quite genius, actually. So easier said than done, but there's a lot of, when you watch a Clint Eastwood movie, you're bound to, you know, really see some memorable lines. And I was lucky enough to get one of those in Heartbreak Ridge.
Well, when you had that first fight with Clint in the barracks, when he had you down with that arm lock and he goes, raise that chin.
Yeah.
Bro, that I used to laugh every time I see that. You just stuck that chin up in and he bang.
Yeah,
man. And you know, I don't know if you knew, I had a chance to go back to that exact barracks where we shot that scene last summer. The
Lancet Huts is still
the
up,
lieutenant, Marine lieutenant that's in charge of that area of Camp Pendleton is called Camp Pendleton is massive, and it's got sections, and there's an area called Camp Talega. Camp Talega is where we shot a lot of the Heartbreak Ridge, and the guy that was running it Googled me and invited me to come down, and I got some pictures I've posted on social media, but I should put some back up there where that Quonset hut where we shot that scene is still there. It looks a little bit different inside, but it's basically the same. They have it, you know, it's a historical section of Camp Lejeune that they've decided, for whatever reason, not to invest any money in it, not to upgrade it. So it's
a shrine.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, man. That's iconic, man. You don't mess with that.
They were thinking about
iconic.
putting there's a, it's not a very fancy area, that's for sure, but there's a rec room where the guys can go and watch TV and movies, and in this rec room there's kind of like a wall of fame, and there's a poster from Heartbreak Ridge. Katy Perry shot a music video there, but by far the most interesting thing they've ever done with that area is shoot Heartbreak Ridge. And everybody that comes through, they you know, or either works there or comes through there, they know that this is where Heartbreak Ridge was shot. It's kind of cool.
Salute, man. I'm gonna just say this real quick, man. I'm not gonna keep you guys too much longer, but I want to sit there and say, man, going back to Hard Work is Undefeated. I'm gonna show a clip. And salute for Beach for coming up, man. That was a loaded question right there. I hope we answered your question. Hope the guys did, rather. But I'm gonna show this clip of this female, and she's very popular on Instagram, but she's using fake weights, man. And again, there's nothing gonna beat hard work and dedication. So let's get into this clip, man. And again, guys, for those who out there watching this stuff, man, and just note that let me see. Before I show the clip, Pete, what was your squat? Well, how much did you? The most you ever squatted?
Well, listen, I'm a stickler for this stuff, and you know, my mentor in the off season was one of the great power lifters of all time, Powerlifting Hall of Fame, Fred Dr. Squat Hatfield.
Oh yeah, Ohio, bro.
And Dr. Squat got that name because not only was he the second man in an official IPA, International Powerlifting Association, that's the only one that's legit, back not wearing a suit or, you know, these metal suit, these crazy suits that allow you to squat 300 pounds more, but just wearing a 2-ply gi and single ply knee wraps. That's it. And lifting shoes. He squatted 1,013. So he was the second man to squat 1,000 pounds. Anyway, he was my mentor, and so I'm a stickler for getting low enough. I mean, the depth that, you know, the depth in a squat that qualifies universally is when the top of your thigh is parallel to the ground.
Right.
And and that's the standard used in the International Powerlifting Federation. So when I was with the Chiefs, they used to follow that standard, and they kept it all fair and square. So my best was 665.
Damn. 665. All right, cool. Let's go to Bruce.
Yeah.
Bruce, what you got?
No, bro, I'm only in that 400 club. I'm not touching that 700 pound barbell. I mean, but man, I'm like Mad Chad. I was listening to your legends out there, and I just wanted to jump in, man. Wish you all the happy holiday, and always a pleasure with Big Duke. Big Duke's my partner over here on fourth quarter, and anytime I can jump in and just share a little bit with you guys, man. It's my pleasure, man. Really.
Appreciate you, fam. Appreciate you. So you say you're in the 400 club. Mad Chad, what's your max squat?
Oh, my max squat was seriously 485, close to 500 on a good day.
Okay,
nice,
cool.
And I'm only a $190, on a good hair day,
Shit, that's damn good.
Real
damn
good.
What you got, man?
Never lifted weights. I was considered weak when I walked into the weight room. I was considered very weak. Maybe I have a little long arms and all that, but I was never into weight lifting. And when I was, part of a football team, I was considered weak for my height and weight. I don't know. A lot of these kids, I could push more iron than me. I could throw them around. I could beat the shit out of them. But believe me, when they got there, they could squat more. Maybe not squat more, but they were definitely. I was considered weak, embarrassingly weak.
No doubt. Okay, I'm between you two. My max was 475. All right, that's my 475. So again, man, you what? You six what?
I'm 6'6".
You 6'6".
And at that time, I was 275.
Okay, cool. So this chick, this Instagram model, guys, is squatting 495, and y'all about to see some of the fakest shit that in the new year. We're gonna start the new year off with some fake shit. So let's get into this clip. Let's go, guys. Let's get it.
495 pounds. Now, first of all, look at the weight. Look at the weight she's using during the set.
And damn, the bar's not even
right
bending.
Next to the squat rack. Why are they different plates? I've never seen two different plates at the gym. Now, second of all, look at her face. Her damn Maybelline makeup is not even sweating down her cheeks. Her eyeliner is on fleek. Her face isn't even turning red.
There is no way on God's green earth that this is. Do y'all see that? And this was selling. Yeah, that's cap, Polo. It's right. That's all cap right there. You know that's cap. So this is 495, guys, and the depth that she's going. Did you hit? I didn't even show this right here to Pete. Pete, you heard him say to break the 90 degree plane right there. That's considered legal, but she is going beyond that with 495. Not even no grimace on her face, no nothing. Let's continue.
How is this humanly possible? No belt, no reps, just raw squatting 495 pounds with her makeup on fleek. It looks like she can squat 700.
And what's that dude in the back going to do if that bar slips off her shoulders, bro?
Thank you. Let's go.
If you don't know who Simian Panda is, Simian Panda is one of the most genetically gifted human beings in the world. He's 6'2", 240 pounds, and he's a man. Why is this important? Because men have like 10 times the testosterone levels that females have. So, as you can see, Simian Panda literally fails and almost dies on his second repetition, while Gracianne Barbosa literally has like her makeup on fleek on her 9th rep at 500 pounds. Now guys, let's take a look at Bradley Martin, 545 pounds.
Yeah, if you don't know who Bradley Martin is, this guy's legit. He is legit. I mean, just strong, and he's one of the fitness guys right there. And this is not fake weight. So Google this guy right here, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Back squat. So Bradley Martin is one of the strongest fitness YouTubers in the world. Just an incredible, like, genetic strength freak. He's about 250, 260 pounds during this clip. Let's take a look at him doing 545 pounds. So as you can see, even though he's getting these reps, his face is turning red. He has belts on. He has the knee wraps. It looks like he's in excruciating pain starting at the second rep. And at the end of the 545 pounds for a couple reps, he literally falls down on the ground.
And notice, like Brother Bruce said earlier, look at the bar bending on that 545 versus 495. The bar straight, no in her face. It was just like, what you mean? This is lightweight. So again, guys, I wanted to show you that and share that with you guys, man. Listen, this all for the gram. It's all for social media. Nothing beat hard work. Nothing beats hard work. So no matter what it is you gonna have to put some dedication in, do your due diligence, nutrition wise and fitness wise, to get those goals, man. So that's what I want to sit there and throw something in for the new year. So go ahead. At this point, I'm gonna drop the link one more time. If you guys want to come up, go ahead and come up. If not, we're gonna start closing this thing out. Let you guys enjoy the new year. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, Matt, Chad, or Pete. You can take it wherever you want to take it.
Oh, how to get a hold of me or
No.
phone?
We ain't gonna do
question.
I ain't gonna put your information out there. No. I got all that. No. No. I'm just saying, if you want to sit there and take it, you can take the conversation in the morning.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see. About what we just saw there. Yeah, just more fake stuff on the internet. No, nothing to get really excited about. But listen, she accomplished what she wanted to do. She got some big, strong guys to try to emulate what she says she could do, squat 500 pounds for 10 reps. And obviously it's not happening. So,
right.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I guess, I guess I try to find the bright side of things. Maybe she's trying to be funny or something. I don't know. I don't really get it.
Get views.
Cool, man. So let's do this, fellas, man. I got a session myself. I got to train some clients myself, man. So let's do this. We're going to start closing this thing out. I'm going to start with my man, Bruce Goes, in the building. Let's start closing it out, man. You got the floor, man. You got the mic. It's on you, family. Speak your piece.
I just appreciate coming in here just for a few seconds, Duke. I'm gonna go walk the dog, man. It's like pea soup fog around here. Nice little mist going. Keeps that like lungs nice and cleaned out, bro. Everybody just take care of yourself for the new year, man. Drink a lot of water. Make sure your diets are cleaned up. Friday night, 6 o'clock. Come over here for fourth quarter talk. Me and Duke are going to get you through it. And Pete, great to be on here. Matt, Chad, my brother, and Duke, thanks for having me on. Almond Brown, anybody else out there that I forgot? Thank you very much, and have a great new year. And peace out, man.
Peace, brother. Peace, man. Matt, Chad, you got the floor, man. What's going on with you, fam? Go ahead, speak your clout.
Yeah. No, what a great day. With Chucky Brown, and we got the big Swede. Great chat, great questions, great time, Big Duke. I wanted to ask Pete a question. Pete, if there was anybody walking down a dark alleyway that you competed with or against, walking down the baddest alleyway in America, who is that one fella, the baddest competitor that you ever played against or a teammate of that you were like, oh my God, this
Good
guy
question.
is just a different freaking creature?
Well, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
I got to give you a couple names, and I think it's just easier for me to say the guys that I really competed directly against. So that would be, I'm a defensive end. That'd be the guys on the offensive side of the ball. And, a guy mentioned earlier, I'll give you a couple of three names, but Mike Webster was a great competitor, and I know he was late in his career. But the way he played the game with the intensity that he did, and I'm just gonna go with Mike Webster, and with this story. So here's a man by the time I played against him, I believe he was in his 15th season, and I think he played 3 more, if you can believe that, at center, and he was undersized for his position, and that means like he was 6'2", 260, right? And so he had no particular advantage of being a gigantic guy. But not only was he a fierce competitor, technically very, very proficient, maybe the second best center I ever played against technically. and no surprise there, but so here's the thing. Each play, and as I pointed out earlier, 6 seconds at a time, all hell breaks loose. And then you got 30 seconds to get yourself off the ground or whatever, get back in the huddle. And then you're going to repeat that process. And you're going to do it for 3 hours, by the way. And just imagine that. And that when you know you're going to be going up against a guy over and over and over again, there's going to be some sort of a rhythm to that. And it can take the many different forms. But I'll tell you the form that it took uniquely with Mike Webster, and that was if he blocked me fair and square, he would say, good effort, Pete. He knew, I mean, like he's talking to me by my first name. And I'm like a nobody compared to him in the NFL. Right. And then if I made an excellent play, shed his block, got in and made a tackle, he said, good job, Koch. That's it. Good job. Keep it coming. Like he wanted more of me. Right. He wanted more of the best of me. And that was a conversation for 3 hours that afternoon in Arrowhead Stadium.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow. Pete.
Yeah, it is, man. Mike Webster, man. The late, great Mike Webster, man.
Legend.
All right. Go ahead, Chad, man. You want to finish it up, fam? It's on you, man.
Yeah, once again, Happy New Year. Shout out to all the people that swung by in the chat. Shout out to Chucky Brown. I mean, the knowledge that Chucky brings is awesome. I mean, him and Big Duke go back years. They just chop it up with the basketball talk. They can really get deep and talk about, you know, who was beside you in the locker room. And just it's always a pleasure, Big Duke. And then Big Swede, you had him on a show before, man. It was one of the best shows I've seen in 2021. And it's an honor, Pete, with your acting career. But, you know, I think acting was definitely more fun. Yes, there was some hard work going into it. But what you did on the field there at Maryland, you won the ACC, I believe, against North Carolina. You know, you were the captain that year. You didn't start till your senior year. And you worked hard. Hard work is undefeated. And I want to thank everybody out there again, and especially you, Big Duke. You know what I mean? Yeah. You always are trying to get people better, and you're trying to improve everybody. And thanks again, Big Duke. God bless.
God bless, fam. Happy New Year, fam. Happy New Year. What's going on, Big Pete? You know what I'm saying? The Big Swede. What's up with you, fam? That's on you, man.
Yeah. So, thanks for having me on, Duke. This was a chance to meet Mad Chad and Chucky for the very first time at Beach, you know. So that's nice. I appreciate you, Duke, and the show's getting better all the time. I can see that, and you've got a hell of a good group of people here, and topics that I think are relative to, you know, the way the stuff that folks are thinking about these days. You know, the number one television program on 6 different networks is the NFL, whether it's on CBS or ESPN or Fox, you name it. It's the number one show. It's what people are talking about. And it's relative. And I think there's a reason for that. It speaks to our time. I'm glad to have been a small part of that. And moving forward into 2020, my message is, folks, I want you to be healthy. And just remember that we need to be our own personal health and fitness advocate. No one's going to do it for us. So we need to take responsibility to that. I'm there to help people. Follow me on Insta, whatever. I'm trying to give people free fitness tips. I'm passionate about that. I've taken a lot that I've learned as a professional athlete and incorporated that into the fitness and wellness program design that I do at this point in my life. I'm 60 next week, and I just want to be the best Pete Koch that I can be and help others to achieve the same. And collectively as a society, I want everybody to be healthier.
Salute, man. Appreciate that, brother Pete. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. I'm not gonna keep you guys, man. They did it for me, man. Thanks for guys for showing up. Again, we got some stuff in the works, man. We're gonna start doing things like this right here a lot. But we appreciate you guys. We want you guys to enjoy your New Year's. This is 2022. Thanks for Matt Chad in the building, my man Chuck, Pete Koch, the Bit Swede, everybody that stopped into the building, Almond Brown, Beach, the number one grinder, Polo the Creator, Mr. Pass, Bruce Goals. Who else I seen in here? It was a lot of people that don't stop through the building. So again, That's my time. Enjoy the rest of the day. Welcome to 2022. Big Duke, all fight, no smoke. Peace.